We're going back to the old school now, or what people would deem to be old school. Now this is as basic and as standard as it gets, but it's a very, very effective rig in the right situation. It's a very long bottom bait rig. Now starting from the hook bait, just a very standard bottom bait. Now that's quite important, that I like to put on the hair exactly what I'm feeding into the swim. So we've got a 15mm bottom bait, we've got a really long hair, there's probably a good inch there before it hits the bottom of the hook. We've got a size 4 beak point hook, razor sharp, just tied KD style, very, very simple. Moving up the rig there, that's a 25-pound coated hook link. Now it's quite a supple coated hook link. You don't want something that's very stiff, because if it lands on a bit of debris, leaves, bit of dying weed, something like that, it's going to sit up and render your presentation useless before you've even had a chance of getting a pickup. Little sleeve there, just covering the loop knot, quick link onto the lead, just a standard lead clip. Now I think the length is very, very important. That's probably about 15-16 inches in length. Now I don't like to use it any shorter than that when I'm boilie fishing, because when you're actually just feeding big 20mm bottom bait, scattering with a stick, you're trying to get the fish to feed in a natural way. So they're coming in, dropping down, picking one up and actually righting themselves, doing the same, and you're building their confidence in the feeding situation. So they pick your rig up and then they right themselves, and then they'll feel the lead. I think if your rig is too short, they sort of suss your rig. As they're trying to right themselves, they'll know something's wrong, and that's the chance where they're going to get, the rig is going to get spat out. So I think the longer the better. And sometimes I will struggle, my rigs are so long when I'm using bottom baits, because the standard rig box is about 12 inches long. Well, it's just not long enough for me to actually pin my rig straight. So I would love to see a hook box, 18, 20 inches. I think it's very, very out of vogue, the long bottom bait rig. And I think it's just about reading the situation on the water and actually putting something out there that isn't used that often, because any rig that is used to extent, the fish will just get used to dealing with it, So I think this is far more effective at 15 inches than it is at 6 inches. So it's a rig that I've caught hundreds and hundreds of carp, and in the right situation, you've got to really find a clear area of sea. I'll put it in silt, because again, the lead can go into the silt and you still be presenting, because your rig is quite long. So it's got a multi-functional aspect to it, this rig has. But give it a try. It's a very old-fashioned rig that some people have forgotten about, but it's certainly one that still features very heavily in my fishing.